The murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh shook America. What's the latest twist in the tale, and where does the killer's brother fit into all this? In the first interview of its kind since the conviction and sentencing of Alec Murdaugh, the killer's brother, Randy Murdaugh, has opened up to the New York Times about what he thinks happened the night his sister-in-law and nephew were shot and killed. The 2021 murders took place on the expansive rural estate owned by the Murdaughs, a prominent legal family in the Charleston, South Carolina area. After a 6-week trial and a brief period of deliberation, Alec was found guilty of both crimes and handed 2 consecutive life sentences in prison. Over the course of the trial, Alec's serious substance use issues and long history of financial fraud were revealed. He reportedly defrauded millions from the family firm's clients and will stand trial for those crimes at a later date. On the topic of his brother's guilt, Randy, who attended the University of South Carolina with his brother and did not testify at Alec's trial, told the New York Times he's still not sure who pulled the trigger. However, he said, "Alec knows more than what he's saying. He's not telling the truth, in my opinion." Though Randy Murdaugh worked alongside his brother Alec at the Murdaugh family law firm, the two had not spoken in roughly a year. In his New York Times interview, Randy explained that they were not exactly close. He said, "It's not like there was some problem with our relationship necessarily. We just really weren't alike, so we didn't do stuff together." In the weeks after Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were brutally shot and killed, Randy did everything he could to try and find out who murdered his sister-in-law and nephew. He explains, "I spent considerable time, day after day for weeks on end, calling people." But he claims the same could not be said for Alec, a fact that he found troubling. Those observations about Alec's demeanor after the death of his wife and son were corroborated by Maggie's sister, Marion Proctor, on the witness stand. Discussing the family's fears about the killers remaining at large, Marion said,
"I think everybody was afraid. Alec didn't seem to be afraid."
In contrast, Alec's surviving son Buster testified under oath that his father was, in his words, destroyed and heartbroken over the deaths of Paul and Maggie. Meanwhile, Alec had reportedly confessed to his brother Randy the embezzlement and other financial crimes, which he attributed to his opiate addiction. Shortly after that happened, Randy says Alec claims someone tried to shoot and kill him. He later confessed that he had paid his purported drug dealer, Curtis Eddie Smith, to try and shoot him in an act of assisted suicide. Smith failed, however. Despite Alec Murdaugh's conviction on the double murder of his wife and son, Randy still can't say for certain he's guilty. Despite all his faults, he said he'd only known his brother to be a loving and protective father. Randy's characterization of his brother's guilt, or at the very least involvement in the crime, diverges from what John Marvin, another Murdaugh brother, said on Good Morning America shortly after Maggie and Paul died. He said, "My brother loved Maggie and loved Paul like nothing else on this earth, just like he loves Buster, so there's no possible way he could have anything to do with this, I can assure you." Shortly after that, the Murdaugh family released a statement that read, "The entire family has been consistent that regardless of what goes on, we want the truth." In his 2023 interview with the New York Times, Randy said, "The not knowing is the worst thing there is. I hoped that after the trial, because there's nothing more that can be presented, that I'd stop thinking about this, but so far that has not been the case."